All right, guys, so everybody asks us, a regular question we get all the time from clients is, what does it cost to live in Charlotte?
What's up, guys? This is Heather and Doug, your local Charlotte real estate agents. If this is your first time to our channel, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. That way you're notified each and every time we put out a new video. We'll be putting out new videos every week on what it's like to live, work, sleep, eat, and play in the Charlotte Metro. And as much as we love doing these videos, what we love even more is helping you with your real estate needs. So if you're local here in Charlotte or you're moving from across the country, feel free to reach out. Call, text, email. Our number is listed right below. We're the ones that answer the phone. So days, nights, weekends, however you want to get a hold of us, we got your back when you're moving to Charlotte.
All right, guys, so everybody asks us, a regular question we get all the time from clients is, what does it cost to live in Charlotte? So we decided to do a cost of living video, which is what this one's about. We're going to do a deep dive into housing, entertainment, utilities. And when we talk about housing, we're going to talk about single family homes. We're also going to talk about townhome and condo prices. So it'll give you a good idea of kind of what that costs, taxes, property taxes, income taxes. And then that way you can compare that to your current city and determine, you know, whether this is going to be a good move for you. So why don't we get started?
Charlotte is one of the largest cities in North Carolina, and we have over 100 people moving to Charlotte every day. It's been said that they expect Charlotte's population to increase by 50% by the year 2050. So with all that growth, we've definitely seen an increase in the price of homes, the price of food, gas. Everything's kind of gone up in the last couple of years. So the first thing we kind of wanted to talk about today was housing. Give you a good rundown of what you can expect if you're buying, if you're renting.
Yeah, and I mean, the prices are going to change to, you know, we're going to give you the median and the average and the median. Now, obviously, if you're in center city Charlotte, it's going to be a lot more expensive than if you're on the outskirts of Charlotte. Charlotte is a pretty wide sprawl. I mean, it goes about 12, 13 miles out from city center is still considered Charlotte addresses. And so obviously, you know, it's less expensive the further away from the city that you get. And then schools are also a huge factor, right? Like, you know, public schools, whether they're highly rated or not, is also going to greatly impact what the cost of housing is in that particular school district.
Yes, for sure. So the top rated school districts are always going to be your most popular. They're going to be the most competitive. You're going to see the higher prices. You're going to see multiple offers. So those are definitely going to be your more expensive areas.
But what we found is it's the average single family home price in Charlotte is $365,000. So $365,000 for a single family home, that's actually slightly below the national average.
Now, if you're looking at renting when you first move to Charlotte and you want to know how those prices compare to where you're at, you can expect to pay about $1,500 a month for a one-bedroom apartment, and going up to a three-bedroom apartment and or a single-family home, you're going to expect to pay anywhere from $2,400 to about $3,000 a month.
Yep. And you can definitely find places that are going to be a little bit less expensive or a little bit more. It really is just all, you know, based on what you're looking for. There are homes that are rented, right? Apartments, and townhomes. So, you know, sometimes these homes or townhomes, you're going to have amenities like a neighborhood pool or workout facility. And so that's going to affect your cost of living, whether it's purchase price or rent. You know, maybe a little bit more expensive to rent, but you've got a sweet gym downstairs in the complex that you're able to use, right? So
yeah. And again, your location of Charlotte,
sure.
And where the schools are and how the schools are rated, those are all going to affect your rent. So if you're wanting to live downtown in a fancy one-bedroom apartment, your rent's going to be a little bit higher. If you're wanting to live in the more desirable South Charlotte area where the schools are ranked very highly, again, you're going to be looking closer to that $3,000 mark.
Yeah, so there's inventory is actually, so we're shooting this video in December of 2022. Inventory is pretty low right now. There's not a ton of options either on the rental side or on the purchase side. But in general, it's a pretty strong market, and rentals tend to go fairly quickly if they're in any kind of decent condition. We work with tons of relocation people that find us on the YouTube channel, and a lot of times they'll want to come and they may want to rent for a year so that they can kind of feel out what the vibe is and what lifestyle, what area is going to best fit their lifestyle. And I think it's a great idea. If you don't have the time to come and actually make a purchase and there may not be inventory, rent for 6 months and let us show you around. Let us show you the different areas and get a feel for what your family likes and what's important to them. And that way, you can find the perfect property in the perfect area and not feel, super stressed about being under the gun of time to make a decision like that.
Mm-hmm, for sure. We've also both lived in Charlotte for a long time. So I've been in Charlotte over 20 years. I have 5 children. I've used private school, I've used public school, and I've used homeschool. So I know a lot of the different options. Doug has been here a long time as well. So always feel free to reach out if you have any questions about a certain area, about schools, shopping, entertainment in that particular area. We've been here so long, and I think I've lived in maybe 6 different areas of Charlotte, so I have a really good idea of what you can expect in each area.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've definitely covered, over the years that we've been here, we've lived and owned homes and rented in many, many, many different areas around here. And obviously we've helped lots of clients in these areas as well. So certainly as it applies to cost of living, if you have questions about that, always feel free to reach out. Like we said, our phone number and email is below, and we would love to hear from you guys. That's why we shoot these videos. So,
and going back to Doug's point on the rentals, so you can expect to put in bids probably on 3 or 4 houses before you actually get the rental you want. It's super competitive, and again, depending on the area and depending on the school districts, but it's not uncommon to fill out an application for 3 or 4 different houses before you're actually accepted. So that's another thing to take into consideration if you're thinking about coming here and renting. It's a competitive market, and it's not easy.
Yeah, and you also have to time that and the logistics of that with when school starts, if you have children, because they're going to want to see proof of residency and whatever, whether you're renting or purchased, they're going to want to see, a signed lease, executed lease, in order for you to be able to enroll your kids in these schools, if they're the public schools and they're assigned to that zone. So they're pretty strict about that, because there are big differences, just sometimes we're even right across the street between, a school district that may have a 6 rating versus one that's got a 10.
So one of the other things we wanted to talk about today was taxes, because that can definitely affect what you can afford here versus what you're paying back home. So if you live in New York or New York City, the taxes are very high, so you're going to get a lot more for your money coming down here. So Mecklenburg County property tax is just over 1%. It's 1.05%, which is a little higher than your statewide average in North Carolina. That's about 0.77%. North Carolina also has a flat income tax of 5.2%, and Charlotte, Mecklenburg has no city income tax. Now your sales tax here is about 7.25%. And anything that is prepared food or beverages, alcohol, things of that nature are going to run a 1% tax.
Yeah, people ask a lot about what the property taxes are, and it's definitely, it varies in different areas, whether you're in the city, if you're getting hit by city and county, or just city or just county. Some areas are incorporated versus unincorporated. In general, if you're looking around Charlotte and Mecklenburg County, a lot of people will also consider just south of Mecklenburg County, which is called Union County, and taxes are a little bit less there. But there is small print to that as well, right? Because for the most part, Union County taxes are less than Mecklenburg County, but if you're in the city of Waxhaw, you're also paying city of Waxhaw tax and county of Union tax. But in general, most people say it's right around 1% as sort of a ballpark, give or take, a little bit higher than 1%, a little bit lower, depending on where the actual property falls. But I would say most people that we work with from other states that move here are blown away, right, by how inexpensive our property taxes are. They kind of laugh and say, I paid that monthly for my taxes up in New York or Connecticut, and that's what I'm paying for a full year. So
Yeah.
I think you'll be pleased as far as what property taxes are.
Another thing we get asked a lot about is groceries. So Charlotte is a pretty big city. We have a lot of different options. Of course, the prices are going to vary depending on where you want to shop. But we do have your lesser expensive grocery stores like Lidl and Aldi. You can find some really great prices there, really great prices on produce and meat. But overall, as an average, and of course this is changing all the time, I just went to the grocery store the other day to get some eggs, and I was blown away by the fact that it was almost $10 for store brand eggs.
It's like $1 an egg.
Yeah. But on average, your milk runs you about $4 a gallon here. Bread is anywhere from $2.50 to about $3. Eggs, I'm not even going to mention because who knows what they're going to be next week.
Right.
But another example, like frozen pizza, your average frozen pizza is about $8. And then, of course, we have Whole Foods where everything's going to be a little bit more expensive. We have another grocery store very comparable to Whole Foods called Earth Fare. Both great stores. We also have a couple Trader Joe's scattered throughout Charlotte, so of course they have really great prices. And then you have your local Harris Teeters and Publix that are just about on every neighborhood around here. We also do have a lot of farmers markets scattered throughout Charlotte, so you can find some really great produce at some really good prices and buy directly from the farmers. So that's another great option. It's fun to take the kids out on the weekends, walk around. A lot of them do samples and things like that, so that's always a fun time.
So another thing that kind of pops up on the cost of living is transportation. People want to know how much does things cost how much is it going to cost me to get around. Right now in Charlotte, gas is down. Actually, it's come down a bit. 2 months ago it was probably $1 more, but it's just over the $3 mark right now. About $3.15, I think I paid a gallon. And again, this is December 2022. We have public transportation. I wouldn't say it's super solid in comparison to a lot of other large cities, but it is affordable, and it's expanding. Right? They're building out the light rail. So we have a light rail. The light rail system is kind of our metro system. It's above ground, and it goes from basically the South End area, South Boulevard, all the way up into Uptown, which is our downtown Charlotte. And then all the way out to the university area where UNC Charlotte is located. And there's plans, there's talks about the light rail expanding down into the Matthews area, and also I believe out to the airport. It's growing so much here. I'm sure they're gonna have to expand it. Right?
Yeah.
So we do have a bus system here, and it's a pretty extensive bus system, and it's fairly inexpensive. You can get one-way passes, weekly passes, monthly passes. There's express passes. So we'll drop a link below so that you can get an idea of where the bus routes are. But in general, they're mostly in the Uptown Charlotte area and along most of the major highway routes.
So another thing we felt was important to mention is entertainment. So what can you expect when you're going out? Your average ticket to the Panthers is probably around $100. Now that's for upper level seats, and of course it depends on how they're doing. They're not doing very well right now.
Which is crazy because they're still charging $100 full, and they're also charging like $50 for parking downtown, which is insane.
If you want to take the family to the movies, And again, this can vary depending on the time and what kind of movie. So we have a lot of theaters with the 3D and the 4D and the IMAX and things like that. But your average movie ticket price in Charlotte is going to be around $15 a ticket. We do have over 230 parks in Charlotte, and of course those are free. There really is something for everybody when it comes to those kind of parks. We've got dog parks, we've got parks that are on the lake where you can kayak. We've got the White Water Center, which is free to go out and hang out. Tons of activities. So your average restaurant meal, now this is not a fancy sit down, this is more like you can go in and order the food and grab it and then go sit down yourself kind of thing. So you're looking at anywhere from $11 to probably $20 per meal. If you want to go to a fine dining restaurant here in Charlotte, you're looking at anywhere from $20 to about $50 per person. Want to go out and have a beer, anywhere from $3 to $7. We have a lot of breweries here in Charlotte where you can get a nice craft beer. They have specials on certain days of the week. Your average latte in Charlotte is probably going to run you $5, $6, and a cocktail. And again, of course, that varies depending on what kind of cocktail, but average cocktail is going to be about $12.
Yep. Yeah, so utilities is something that obviously people want to know about as well. In general, and this is going to vary a ton based on what size apartment or home you live in, right? But in general, the average in Charlotte for your utility bills, which would include your electric, your gas, and your water, is right just a little bit over $150. Again, that's an average that can totally vary. The one cool thing about Charlotte Mecklenburg is your water bill does include trash and recycle pickup, which is pretty cool.
Yep.
And they have a large item pickup every week. You just have to give them a heads up of what you need picked up and taken away. And so that's all included. So that that makes it kind of nice.
Another thing to mention is childcare. So for those of you that are looking for daycare, you want to plan ahead. So if you know that you're going to be moving to Charlotte in the next couple months and have an idea of the general area or have an idea of where you're going to be working, childcare is definitely something you want to get on the top of that list, because there are some long wait lists, especially for the younger ages, the babies. It takes quite a bit longer to get in. So you can plan on average about $1,000 to $1,500 a month, depending on what kind of daycare facility you want. There are some great free pre-K options once your child reaches that pre-K age. Those run through Charlotte Mecklenburg, and they're not income-based, but they're going to give priority to the children with the most need, but it is open to everybody.
So that's about all we got, you guys. We hope that you're finding these videos useful and helpful in your search. That's what we're doing this for. We like to help you guys. If for any reason we can be a resource, please feel free to reach out, shoot us a text, email, call, however you want to get a hold of us. We would love to help you with your real estate needs here in Charlotte. So just to kind of wrap things up, I think that overall people feel like the cost of living in Charlotte is good, especially considering what you get by living here. It's a great place to live. We've got a really great climate. We're close to the beaches. We're close to the mountains. We've got a huge international airport, lots of sports teams, great restaurants, good schools, good universities. So there's a lot of great things that you get as part of living here, and so I feel like the overall value, apples to apples, compared to a lot of the other big cities, it's a great value here, living here, cost of living. That's all we got. Until the next video, we'll catch you later. Thank you, guys.